Hey there, this is R A Manard, Mitrava for Monks of the Way, the weekly Truth Talk. Today it's Oneness, and I will go ahead and get right into it. People talk about oneness and they have different ideas of what this means, but what we're talking about today is Buddha, of course, the teachings of Buddha. So what did Buddha think of all this? And we have examples, and of course this is from the selective, the small, even less than the Theravada, very less than the Pali Canon um, of the way. And of course, there's the Theravada, the full Pali Canon, which includes, the offerings of other monks and what they say monks that knew Buddha said. And then, of course, there's later traditions like the Mahayana, which include even more things. When we talk about Buddha, we do know that there is a oneness that he is talking about. We know that he talks about, for instance, if you help others, that you help yourself. If you harm others, then you harm yourself. So he's talking about definitely a connection, not as being the same as the other person or whatever, but certainly a good connection. And I will cite the pronunciation would be Bhaddeka Rada Sutta. And he's talking about in there a oneness of mind, a, a oneness, or rather a connectedness of mind to all things, to other minds, to everything. And he's talking about meditative practice is what he's talking about. And he's not saying that a person is another person or a person is the universe, but he is talking about certainly a connection. And we know that during the different sutta there in that area, there's, let's see, the one I'm talking about is M131, 3, 187 to 189. But there are other sutta right there also. And you have to know, like I said, that there's a migration, let's say, of how people see this. And for instance, there's this story here where the mother of an untouchable woman puts a magic spell on Ananda uh, so that he will sleep with her daughter, and then Buddha himself casts a counterspell to prevent this. So in the Mahayana tradition, you're getting certainly in the opinion of Theravada and the Way, a more mythological Buddha, one that's a spellcasting Buddha, and that's not the one that we know as Theravada, not the one that we know as, strictly speaking, his teachings. Um, so I'm gonna disregard that myself, but I don't think a person should just disregard things because they seem unreasonable. They should have a self-reliance, a fact-based discernment for themselves, as of course I have and do have. So we do know that there is a connection, and I like to mention it as a flea and a dog. Now, a flea lives off of the dog, but the flea is not a dog. It does not become a dog. Just like a person is not the universe, does not become the universe. You get New Age people saying that they are God, whatever that would mean to them. But it does not seem reasonable. It does not seem logical at all. I'm sure wishful thinking can take you pretty much anywhere if you don't have any fact-based reason for it. And so I would call for everybody to be more fact-based than that. Now, if you don't have any reason to believe something, can you still believe it? Sure you can. Should it change what is fact-based? No. So now if a person believes that they are God or they are the universe, then where is there to go? What is there to gain? What is there to know? In addition, nothing. Where is it productive? Where is it wise? Where is it good for people to believe this way? Well, they say, well, it relieves some pressure. Well, I guess it would relieve a lot of pressure, wouldn't it? You don't need to do anything if you're already everything you need to be, right? So I would put forward that most of this is such a thing, that the mind will try to tell you narratives that reinforce what it wants. And of course, it doesn't want to stretch beyond what it is now and keep at it and work. So it will give you the easy answer that makes it so you don't have to even think about doing that. So that's what I would put forward about that. As far as this meditation that I talked about, that Buddha was talking about, it was in an overnight meditation where you watched your mental states as they arise. And there are lots of different meditation types, as I've mentioned before, hundreds. There are hundreds of types. So I would advise that a person try several types. This one particularly would be watching thoughts from detachment. And a person can wander into this accidentally, certainly while they're trying to meditate, maybe on silence or the breath. But doing it on purpose would certainly be more advantageous to them, more profitable, if that's what they're going for. Lots of different states can be encountered, and lots of different meditation types can be encountered while we're going along our way. I would mention that there is a booklet that I made about the different meditation types that's available for free online, but it's also available for the cost of reasonable shipping in a paperback version. So you might take a look at that. And Monks of the Way is up and running now, so it is able to offer that as a bonus to people that donate in the future. It's going to be one of those things where you can get a booklet sent to you at a certain level of donation, a thanks that we would give you for the donation. And there would be other things also, but that's in the future. So anyway, as far as questions go, let's see if there have been any questions in the past few minutes here. Not so far. So if there's any question that you want to ask there, you can go ahead and ask something pertaining to this issue or a different issue, whatever from the Buddhist perspective of the way. And I'll give you a minute to ask that if you'd like. And mention more about oneness while I do that. I've encountered definitely mental states where you feel a oneness. And certainly when a person has correct vision of the universe, they see the universe as it is, there is a oneness, and there is a dependent arising. We know that something comes from something. We know that nothing comes from nothing. So we know there's a source. But once again, because you come from something doesn't mean you are that thing. It makes an obvious connection. So we are connected to all things. We are connected to the universe. We are a product of the universe, whether you see it as purely physical or whether you see it as physical and, let's call it, metaphysical or spiritual. We know that something, once again, does come from something, so there is a oneness. And we are intimately all siblings in that way. We all came from the same universe. There are different shades of melanin. There are different shapes of eyes, noses, colors of skin, like I say, but really they're all very much intimately related. Well, I don't see any questions, so I'm going to cut it short and make sure that it's a small video that the young people will find accessible that way. All right, so I want to have you thank you for listening, and I hope that light will remove darkness. Well, got that backwards. I hope that truth will remove delusion in your life the way light removes darkness. R A Manard for Monks of the Way. Thanks once again for having a listen.